Hey fellow Outriders, it's Angry Turtle and I have for you a brand new build. This one was quite tricky because it happened that Technomancer, that's not a bullet build. It's quite hard to achieve the level of power required to get gold on CT15. But I managed, it's working. But before we start, I would like to say thank you to all of you that recently subscribed to my channel, as we are approaching 1000 subscribers. What's amazing, as you know, that's a huge milestone for every YouTube channel, then I'm extremely happy. Thank you a lot. And now about the build itself. Let's start from the skills we are using. It's a turret build. We have cryo turret, we have blighted turret, and we are using cold snap as a turret. Like, this cold snap could have been swapped, but we want to have two from the gadget category for the possible revive. As you can see, the cooldown on those skills is too long to otherwise keep consistently our AP boost and revive up. Then that's why those perks. And as you know, turret builds are way stronger with tier 3 mods, but not here. I'm not using any tier 3 mods from legendaries, then it can be much stronger, then don't worry about that. This is the tree that I went after. It's quite tanky. As you can see, we have a lot of resistance, a lot of armor, and important ones are Winter's Barrier. That's amazing. 40% damage mitigation for 3 seconds after using class melee skill, and we are using melee skill here a lot. It's based on melee skill and turrets, then yeah, this is great. We pair it with Brain Freeze that apply toxic whenever you use melee attack, which is super good. We have a lot of freezing abilities, therefore exposing frost. Every enemy that will be frozen will be vulnerable in the same time. And of course, that's what I was talking before. Overclocked gadget skill. Increase anomaly power and weapon damage by 40% for 10 seconds. That's why we need to have two different gadget skills in order to keep it up. And as well, the second part, it's a little bit tricky sometimes to figure out what it's mean. But basically, whenever you use gadget skill, for 10 seconds after that, you have revive. Like, it's an instant revive. If your health drop to 0, it will jump instantly back to 50%. And then there is 180 seconds cooldown on this revive. Just if you are confused where you are dying and not getting revive, that means that you didn't use your gadget skill in last 10 seconds. That's why we need those two gadget skills. Other than that, we are going for more damage versus frozen enemies. There is 30% here, 10% here. All those gives us decent amount of health boost, and you cannot avoid taking that. We have one cooldown. This is totally wasted. I don't know why it's even here, but there's no way to avoid it. That's not really useful either unless you will be on the team. But of course, yeah, the vulnerable, that's what's useful. Unfortunately, as it was nerfed, I decided not to go for more vulnerable and instead be more tanky and avoid a risk of sudden death. Although if you want and if you play on the team mostly, it's worth to tweak this build a little bit. Like, don't take that and instead go down in here to get decay. And maybe if you want to swap something, get another vulnerable. Now about the equipment. Two options for a weapon, whatever will suit you better. I like running this one at this moment. It's a combination that you probably never saw before used really on actual build. Apart from the mods, important is to have status power, and mods here are Clip Combustion and Mark of the Stake. After you get some practice with using those two mods, they are super powerful. And other option, as I said, will be like as well Mark of the Stake and Death Chains or something else instead of Mark of the Stake if you will not use burn mods. But I have burn mods on armor because we somehow need to increase the damage, and burn is super helpful in that. We have Cryo Turret deals extra damage, and we have this Bullet Kindling. 20% more damage against enemies afflicted by burn. That's a lot, and that's why we want our weapon to have quick burn application. And this is actually really fast, mark of the stake. There is a cooldown stated there, cooldown per reload. Therefore, you can mark as many enemies as you want, as fast as you want, and press the reload. You don't even need to fully reload, just press the reload and they will all burn. Next one, we have Cryo Turret is scale based on status power, and as you see, we are targeting anomaly power and status power on every single armor piece. The third one is not really important, those two are important. Then we have Damage Absorber. That's my favorite defensive skill because it gives decent amount of armor and some resistance without any requirements. Next on this piece, we have Radical Therapy. That's a must-have. There is a better variant on rank 3, like from the legendary, but not using it here, but just to let you know there is better variant. And I have Rejuvenation. Not necessary, you can use something else. It's not great because it's a second working, 2 second not working. Then it's not constant, but it was on this piece and I cannot change it. Then on the gloves we have twice as hot combined with Untamed Power. Then both of those will activate whenever you use skill or melee attack. As melee attack is a skill, and melee attack, if you do not know, scale of anomaly power as well. Then that's amazing combo if you will go for burn. If you will not go for burn, then you don't need twice as hot and you don't need bullet kindling. Then those you will swap for whatever else you can use. And finally, for our boots, we have Freezing Boost and Martial Arts. Martial Arts is really good. It gives you your melee skill available more often. It is not necessary. Like, you have a lot of possibilities here. If you don't have exact mods, you can use something else, although this setup works quite well on this build. Now about expeditions. Unfortunately, a lot of them will not be possible to do gold on the budget build. It will be possible really quickly after you unlock 2 or 3 tier 3 mods, but not at this moment. What you are aiming for, if possible, you are aiming for Archways of Enoch. That's the easiest one for this build, and you aim for this one. If you do not know, you can reroll them. Like, if you join whatever one in here, and you quit back, then new ones will appear. Like, I can join Frontline. I can instantly go and abandon it. I go back to the expeditions. And you can see I have a different setup. Then that's how you can quickly reroll and get a different expeditions. Okay, I rerolled one more time and we have Archways of Enoch, the one we wanted. And now let me show you how to use this build, as this can be a little bit tricky at first. You just basically spam your turrets, that's simple stuff. Use melee attack possibly as often as possible, and if you can, try to connect your reload and melee attack. Like, you basically press your reload button, you tag, like, all of those enemies are soft, but basically you tag a couple enemies, press reload and melee attack. That will trigger your perks to do a lot of damage almost instantly. And whenever there is a boss coming or something like that, try to tag him really quickly and use the reload and attack. Like, you try to use reload, attack, melee attack as often as possible, and whenever you have turret down from cooldown, you use it. As you don't want turret to be sitting in your, like, let's say, inventory, not being used. You need to toss them as quickly as they are available. And when the first turret, the cryo one, is at like 50% cooldown, that's when you want to use your freeze skill, because it will extend duration for your revive. That's important. And AP buff. Then that's how you use the freeze. Freeze do not have any other purpose. It's to extend the duration of the buff. Then you use it when your first turret is half the way on the cooldown. The other turret you use straight away whenever available. And you can see on this guy, if I do reload, he's being set on fire, and then melee skill is doing damage to him thanks to our perk combo that we are using. Like that, reload, melee. You see, he don't even need to be close. I can kill him. That's our only way to increase our range a little bit, thanks to this reload. And I'm talking too much. I didn't deploy my turrets, but I'm gonna fix it now. Attack them as often as possible. Use reload because we have clip combustion. Then you know what it does. It does explosion. That's additional damage. And you can wipe out a horde of enemies really quickly. That's why this map is really good. There's a lot of enemies and they go after you. You don't like maps with humanoids because they hide. They hide and that makes your life much harder. And you can probably already notice that we are super tanky without using broken golem mod for our armor. Then that's additional advantage of this build. And here's a quick demonstration again. You fire, you reload, you melee. That's what you are aiming for, and then you use all your other skills as well. Fire, reload, melee is how you do a lot of damage. It's how you kill them. Reload, melee. Here you can see it. Mission accomplished. Outriders of Enoch in 12 minutes. Done. Let's see if we have any legendaries. There is something, I think two legendaries. Not bad, not too bad at all. Darkness, Spirit. Okay, 2 legendaries that I do not have yet. That's very lucky run. And just quickly for you, the damage breakdown, and we have clip combustion damage. You can see this mod, even though it's tier 1 weapon mod, 29 million damage. Mod Untamed Power, 26 million damage. Cryo Turret, 23 million damage. Toxic, 19 million. Twice as hot, surprisingly. You see, we are not a Pyromancer, but still with twice as hot damage, 18 million. Burn itself, 13 million damage. And then Cold Push, even though we are punching and punching and punching, punching itself is not a main source of damage. Punching is here to trigger all those other mods that do damage for us. Then you have the breakdown. Unfortunately, Blighted Turret, it's just for thunder. You just place her, you have some distraction for enemies. It's not much damage. Not much damage at all, although it applies Toxic, and Toxic does decent amount of damage. Then here you go, guys. That's everything for this video. Let me know, as always, what you think about this budget build for Technomancer. Definitely with this build it will be super easy for you to push towards tier 15 and then push expeditions to like CT13. Can be a little bit harder, so you will need to upgrade gear a little bit more to get CT14 and 15 with gold. But as you can see, CT15 gold, doable. You just aim for this one map, Outriders of Enoch, and you will be fine. And now, as always, thank you a lot for watching, and see you guys in the next one.